Florence Scovel Shinn, doesn't get nearly the credit she deserves. Most people in the manifestation space are working with Neville Goddard or the Law of Attraction crowd. But Florence, a New York illustrator turned spiritual teacher who published The Game of Life and How to Play It in 1925, was operating at a level that most modern teachers still haven't caught up to. She was practical, she was direct, she had a sense of humor, and she worked with real people in real situations. People who came to her broke, heartbroken, waiting on a call, waiting on a letter, waiting on someone to reach out. So, how do you manifest a text from someone according to Florence Scovel Shinn? Let's go through the whole thing: the philosophy, the method, the words, the traps to avoid, the game metaphor you're playing whether you know it or not. Florence's central metaphor is this: life is a game, and like any game, it has rules. The problem is that most people play without knowing the rules and then wonder why they keep losing. The rules, in her framework, are the laws of mind. What you think, what you speak, and what you feel, these are moves in the game. Every word you say is an affirmation. Every thought you dwell on is a declaration to the universe. Every time you mutter, "He never texts me," or "She's probably moved on," you're playing a move, a losing one. In The Game of Life and How to Play It, she writes, "Every man has within himself the power of his own salvation, his own success, his own happiness. He has only to learn the rules of the game and play it properly." The text you're waiting for isn't held back by the other person. It's held back by your own words, your own inner conversation, your own repeated assumptions. Florence is unambiguous about this. You are the player. You are also the obstacle. The word, Florence's most potent tool. Here's where Florence differs most sharply from Neville. While Neville emphasizes inner feeling and imagination, Florence gives enormous weight to the spoken word. To affirmations, but not the weak, uncertain kind you whisper while half believing the opposite. She believed the word, spoken with faith and authority, had the power to dissolve conditions and create new ones. She called it denials and affirmations. You deny the false appearance and affirm the spiritual reality. In the power of the spoken word, she's explicit. The object of the affirmation is to impress the subconscious mind, which is the seat of power, and more forcefully, your word is your wand. The words you speak create your own destiny. This is not casual. Florence meant it literally. The words you speak aloud, especially with conviction, especially repeatedly, are instructions to a power that does not question them. It just executes. So if you're walking around saying, "I don't understand why they haven't texted me, maybe they're just not interested, I hate this silence," that's your wand at work, casting spells you don't want. The practice begins with watching your mouth. Divine, design, and right channels. Florence introduces a concept that sets her apart from mechanical manifestation teachers: divine design. She believed that everything meant for you is already perfectly planned. In the spiritual realm, what she calls the divine plan. Your job isn't to force outcomes. It's to align with the plan that already exists for your highest good and then let it through. In The Game of Life, she writes, "There is a divine design for each man's life. He has a predestined path, and there is something he is designed to do which he can do better than any other living being." Applied to manifesting a text from someone, Florence would ask first whether this person is on your divine path, not as a way to discourage you, but as a reframe. Instead of demanding one specific outcome from one specific person, you open the channel. You affirm that what is yours by divine right comes to you now, and you trust the universe to deliver it through the right avenue. This is why Florence's affirmations often include phrases like "through the right channels" or "in God's own way." She's not limiting the how, she's claiming the what. The specific affirmations for manifesting communication. Florence was a prolific creator of affirmations, and she tailored them to specific situations in ways that feel almost eerily precise for modern life. Though she never said text, she was working in 1925. She absolutely dealt with people waiting on letters, phone calls, responses from specific people who had gone silent. Her approach was to craft an affirmation that did three things. 1. Denied the appearance of separation or silence. 2. Claimed the spiritual reality of connection and communication. 3. Released the outcome to divine timing and divine order. Here are some affirmations directly in the spirit of her teachings that you can use. Infinite Spirit, open the way for divine communication. What is mine by divine right reaches me now through the right channels. There are no lost messages, no missed connections in the divine mind. What is meant to reach me reaches me now. I release name to God. I bless them and I bless myself. Perfect love and perfect communication are now established between us. The lines of communication are divinely open. The right words come to me from the right person at the right time. Florence was fond of affirmations she called for emergencies. Short, powerful, declarative. In the game of life, she gives one she used constantly. Infinite Spirit, open the way for my good. Let me not miss a trick. That last line, let me not miss a trick, is pure Florence. Practical, grounded, almost playful. She wasn't floaty about this. She was a New York woman who expected results. The law of non-resistance. Stop pushing. One of Florence's most important teachings, and the one most relevant to manifesting something from a specific person, is the law of non-resistance. She writes in The Game of Life, non-resistance is an absolutely invincible force. The oyster, by its non-resistance to the grain of sand, makes of it a pearl. What this means practically, the harder you push for the text, the more you block it. The more you obsessively check your phone, run scenarios in your head, feel the wrongness of the silence, the more you're in a state of resistance. And resistance, in Florence's system, is friction against the flow of your own good. She gave a famous example in her classes, a woman waiting desperately for a letter from a man she loved. The more she obsessed, the longer the letter was delayed. When she finally surrendered, genuinely let go, said, God knows what's best for this situation. I release it completely. The letter arrived the next day. Florence's comment was characteristically dry. The letter had probably been on its way the whole time. The woman's resistance was holding the channel closed. Non-resistance doesn't mean indifference. It means peace. It means trusting the mechanism enough to stop white-knuckling it. Blessing the person. This is another distinctly Florence move, and one that modern manifestation teachers rarely emphasize the way she did. Florence taught that you should bless the person you want to hear from, not as a sentimental exercise, as a metaphysical technique. Because resentment, anger, longing with attachment, all of these create what she called a log jam. They block the flow of good to you and from you. In your word is your wand, she writes. Bless your enemy, and you rob him of his ammunition. Your arrows of resentment rebound and hit you. Applied here, if you're frustrated that someone hasn't texted, if you're cycling through hurt or anger or obsessive analysis of what their silence means, you're shooting arrows at yourself. The resentment loops back. The practice is to genuinely bless the person. Say their name, wish them well, release the grip. This isn't about being a pushover, it's about clearing your own channel so that what's meant to flow between you can actually flow. A Florence-style blessing for this situation. I bless name and release them to God. I wish them only good. I am at peace. What is ours by divine right is now established in love. The boomerang law, what you send out returns. Florence's understanding of karma, she called it the boomerang law, is directly relevant here. She writes in The Game of Life, whatever you send out in words or deeds will return to you. What you give, you will receive. If you're sending out thoughts of doubt, of lack, of why haven't they texted me yet, something must be wrong, that's what boomerangs back. The universe is not responding to your desire. It's responding to your dominant vibration, your dominant word, your dominant assumption. But the flip side is the good news. The moment you shift what you're sending out, the moment you start speaking and feeling from a place of connection rather than separation, the boomerang changes direction. Florence documented dozens of cases in her classes where people experienced what she called instantaneous demonstration, a desire manifesting within hours or days of a genuine shift in their inner conversation. The speed wasn't magic. It was the absence of resistance, combined with the clarity of the new word. Don't tell God how. Perhaps the most practically wise thing Florence ever said, and she said it in many different ways, was this: make your claim, but don't dictate the method in the game of life. Man, however, must never try to force his good. I will repay, saith the Lord. This means that the creative power of the universe will repay, not man. This is the trap that catches most people manifesting a specific text. They become so attached to the exact form, it has to be this person, it has to be a text, it has to say this specific thing, that they close off every other avenue by which their desire could be fulfilled. Florence would say, make your affirmation for the experience you want: love, connection, communication, closeness, and let God handle the delivery. Often what comes back is exactly what you specified. Sometimes it comes in a form more perfect than you imagined. But either way, you have to leave the channel open. Infinite Spirit, I claim divine communication and divine love in my life now. I release the how. I trust the when. I receive it in God's perfect way. The act of faith. Finally, and Florence would insist on this, there must be an act of faith. Something you do in the physical world that demonstrates you believe the thing is done. She writes in The Game of Life, faith without works is dead. Act the way the wish fulfilled would look. This doesn't mean texting them first to force the outcome. It means conducting yourself as someone who is at peace. Someone who is not waiting desperately. Someone who trusts. Maybe you put your phone down for the afternoon. Maybe you go do something you love. Maybe you go out with genuine lightness in your step. The act of faith sends the signal. It tells the subconscious and the universe that you actually believe it. Not theoretically, actually. Florence's students consistently reported that demonstrations came when they stopped hovering and started living as though not performing it anxiously, but genuinely inhabiting the peace of a person who knows their good is on its way. The shortest Florence Scovel manifestation method. If you want to distill everything to its essence, Florence would probably give you this. Step 1. Speak the word. Use your wand deliberately. Affirm the connection is real and established in divine mind. Step 2. Bless the person. Release resentment. Clear your channel. Step 3. Non-resistance. Let go of the obsessive monitoring. Stop white-knuckling the outcome. Step 4. Trust divine order. Don't tell God how. Claim the experience, not the method. Step 5. Act of faith. Live like someone who already knows the answer is coming. That's the game. Those are the rules. Florence spent 30 years playing it with her clients in New York and watching it work in conditions that had seemed completely stuck. The text is not in someone else's hands. It's in yours. You have the power to decree a thing, and it shall be established unto you. Florence Scovel Shinn, The Game of Life and How to Play It.